food. This man has curated your entire evening. You've got some swag that you can walk away with. There is a cute-ass Shih Tzu running around. Everyone love Dior a little bit. That's right, that's right. So, Rafael, I think you've got some things to say about why this show, why you, why now, why are we here this evening? So I'm going to pass this off to you. Inspire us to give you money.
Thanks. All right, so anyone who's known me at all, they know that I love to travel, but they don't know the reason why I love to travel. Dominican in the Bronx, you know, we used to go to the Dominican Republic every year, and I was like, I was tired of it actually. I thought that was just it. I thought that was travel. And when I turned 20, I decided to go with a client, believe it or not. He needed someone to drive him in Greece. They just passed the tax when you're passing it over like property, the tax property to like pass it over to another person, to a family member. Before, there were never taxes involved. It was always a dowry. So all of the Greco-Americans had to go back to register their property so they can start paying tax. So this client, he didn't know how to drive. He asked me if I knew how to drive stick, and if I did, he would pay for half of my ticket, and he would put me up as long as I drove him for 2 or 3 days. So he asked me, do you know how to drive? And I'm like, yeah, I know how to drive stick, sure. I figured it out on the way. It was great.
It goes to clutch.
Yeah, it was a rental. But see, I couldn't let that opportunity pass me by, right? When I was a 10-year-old little nerd, I was obsessed with the Iliad and all of the Greek gods and this faraway place that only existed in books. And now I actually had an opportunity to go there. So I went, and I stood there for 5 weeks. And those 5 weeks changed my life. That was the first time that I've gone to a place, it was Yanadi, City and Rhodes, that the last person that looked like me, a person of color, had been 20 years ago. Little kids were like going crazy, and they were just like, it was like a spectacle because they never saw a person like me walking into their town. The people there were super gracious, and I thought, you know, writing in my actor's journal, let's see how different we're gonna be, and I'm gonna compare cultures. And what I found was that there was no difference besides the language. The old ladies were washing the clothes with these little steel things and gossiping. I know it was gossip. The old men were playing dominoes. The teenagers were playing basketball. It was exactly as if I had gotten back down to the Dominican Republic. Exact same thing. So I started looking at myself and wow, like I've been taught to look at different people, different cultures as they're all different. And right there I was like, shit, we're actually all the same. So what's preventing me from connecting with someone else? So I kept on going through the Greek islands and eating their fruits and their honey, which now I'm obsessed with different types of honey. There's a difference between. And after that, I kept traveling, and everywhere I went, it was a deepening of a connection that I felt with those people. I saw myself in those people, even in the women that lived in the mountains of Haiti. And you look at them, and I'm like, yeah, that could be my mother, my grandmother. There's always a connection. So then, being a New Yorker, like I am, and being someone who has to voice his opinions, I'm an activist, right? So what I found in conversations is that once you bring connection to the table and you open up dialogue with how similar we are as opposed to how different we can be, that's the only way that we can actually cause change. Now, traveling is the best thing that you can possibly do to open up your heart, your mind, your soul, and your spirit. especially if you travel by yourself. Because when you're with Kiki and Shawanda and y'all trying to get lit at the bar in Mexico, there's an agenda. But if you go by yourself, you now have to open yourself up to connecting with people that you ordinarily wouldn't. And those people are going to connect with you. They will go out of their way to make sure that you're having an amazing time. And this is something that's a given every single place that I travel to. So I inspire people to come out and travel, whether it's with me or by themselves, especially by themselves. So now, this show, I have to be honest, what I was pitching before, I've been working on for like 2 or 3 years, was a scripted reality travel show, right? Yeah, wrap your head around that one.
It's a lot of ingredients, bro.
Yeah. So, what I kept hearing was, the budget's too big, I got it. And one of my mentors said, why aren't you trying to do this show yourself? Why don't you do the show and have people see the world through your eyes? And I said, nah. A year later, after really being with myself and how it is that I'm spending time with my family and how I'm curating these experiences with them, especially with our aunt, she's the matriarch of the family, which should have put a picture of her there. She is yay high, and she will dance everybody out of this room. And I am not joking, my family's over here. She has this spirit that just won't stop. And she does this because of her past experiences. So she lived through quite a few things in the Dominican Republic. She's 92, so she saw dictatorships rise and fall. She saw the Cuban Revolution happen and how a lot of Dominicans went to Cuba to fight for the resistance and make sure that they took care of the Cuban people. So there was always that synergy with the islands. And she's one of the people that said, go out and check out the world. I can't, but I want you to take me to Cuba. She said that when I was 20 years old. So this past year, now, in August, for Labor Day, we finally got to go. It took 20 years, but we took her to Cuba. And I have to say, it's been the best family connection time that we have ever had. And if I have to narrow it down, I think it would have to be not just the places that we went to or the places that we stayed in or the places that we ate in. Really, it was the time on the charter bus that we spent going from city to city. So let me tell you something, when you're in 3 hours with a whole bunch of people, that's family, if you don't love them, you go, no. And I'm blessed to know that my family, we all love each other. Like I don't want to use that phrase, good people, but we're just wholesome people that want basic things easily. So this show was me having that experience with my family and then understanding that, yeah, actually I can produce this, I can curate this. So I wrote out the treatment to the executive director of an organization that I'm working with, and he was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for, because I wanted you to do this, not other characters to make money. This speaks to your soul. And I'm like, yeah, I feel comfortable with this. So my goal with my show is to not just travel the world, but I really do want to go to specific places. My focus is going to be in the global south. Why? Because Paris, Berlin, and Amsterdam, it's been done and redone and redone. And the thing about it is that when it comes to numbers in the travel industry, every time you go, any individual person will go to a destination, they are set to spend money, which adds to the economy. This is one of the reasons why Broadway here in New York City is so important. People come from all over the country to watch a show on Broadway, even though that show, if it's successful, travels around because it brings revenue into the city. So now, if we look at cities that are not getting that attention and they're not being promoted, why not? So that's where politics become a thing. But I want to change that. I actually want to focus on the global south. I want to go to Central, South America, Africa, and South Asia. I want to make sure that we know that there are other places that we can go to that have not been talked about, that have been ignored, and that people also deserve your revenue, so that they can lift themselves up from whatever situations we as American might be playing a part in. I'm political, I'm telling you now. Now, I'll say this much. When it comes to the demographic of the travel industry, 92% for the most part are European based, right? Everybody is white, let's call it what it is, everybody's white. And even if you're somebody that wants to promote something in Africa or from India, they would still prefer to get somebody from Britain to represent the country than the actual person that is from the location or nearby or understands the culture. That's a problem, because there's a lack of sensitivity to that person's culture or those people's culture. And we're also ignoring the fact that we are a multicultural world. We understand a lot more about ourselves in understanding other people. We will have better conversations, even in this room, by looking at somebody that does not look like us and having a conversation with them. So my focus is to do that, opening conversations. So focusing on culture and heritage and how it is that they're affected by everything that's happening in the world. Like, I just came from Paris. And in Paris, they give you news about everything that's happening around the world, even if it's just a tidbit. In America, we see shit. We see Fox, we see CNN, and everything is very self-centered. We do not care about what's happening to everyone else around the world unless it's affecting our pockets.
Facts.
So, as I run for mayor of the Travel and Tourism, what I promise to do, I am, you know me, I'm passionate about certain things if I decide to do them, and this is something I feel is a calling, and this is something I really want to do. There are also a few other projects that I want to bring into the world. I want to birth those projects, but it starts with one. And right now, what's in front of me is this travel show for the next couple of years, and I would love if you were to support me so that I can continue these conversations, inspire people to travel, and so we can really be in this salad of goodness and take that and bring this and oh yeah, and then we're gonna do this, because that's the absolute only way that we can really, and listen to what I'm saying, that's gonna be the only way that we are going to survive being human in the next couple of decades. All right? So vote for Pedro.
Rafael Moreno, everyone. Stay up here. I want to play a quick audience participation game. Before I let you go, before we turn back on the music, let you back at the bar and pick over the scraps if there's any food left. You all just heard what Rafael had to say. A lot of you have known him for years or months or days. All of those amounts are the right amount. One word, shout it out from the audience that you think of when you think of Rafael. Go ahead.
Focus.
Outgoing. Ambition. Determined. Passionate. Sexy. Talented.
Focus.
Yes, see, it's still going! Turns out we could play this game for at least 5 minutes. How's your ego boost?
Yo, they got me. Who said whip? I was like, okay.
So, given all those amazing vibes, let's, remember, QR codes, donations. Let's make this show happen. Don't you want to be here? Yeah. Be the person in the memory who made it happen for this incredible human being. Like, it's not just fun, food, and fashion, right? It's also politics, it's global awareness, it's sensitivity, it's kindness, it's a nurturing, right? This man is incredibly kind, nurturing, and also like, damn fine, we all know it and it's cool. So, make sure you hit up your QR codes, get your t-shirt to contribute to the proceeds for the flood relief in DR. And if you have got, yes, you have something to say?
No, just on that, really. So, excuse me. So, in the Dominican Republic, if you haven't been around in the news, about a week and a half ago, they had some devastating flooding, like tremendously devastating. Like walls were coming down, roads were ripped from the ferocity of the water. Many people, families were displaced, and it was something that was really unexpected because it wasn't even a huge hurricane that people were preparing for, but it was just the amount of water. So tonight what we're doing is that all proceeds that come from the t-shirt, it's not even going to this, but thank you, love your support, but I also want to make sure that as I'm receiving, I'm also passing it through. So if you will find it in your hearts to make a donation or to buy a t-shirt, it looks good on you. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely. So before we turn this music on, for real, enjoy your time. But if you've got a glass and it's got anything in it, go ahead. Lift your glass. And notice your heart. And between your heart and your cup, give yourself a moment. Send out a wish to this man, his vision, his dream in your heart. From my heart to yours, I thank all of you for your time and energy this evening. Go ahead and toast yourselves. Toast the man, Rafael Moreno. Thank you all so much for coming out here tonight. We can't wait to see what Rafael does with his show, Xperiences. But for now, enjoy the rest of your night. Hit up that step and repeat, #Xperiences with an X. I'm Rhea Tutulo, your host. Rafael Moreno's the man of the hour, and we thank you so much for your time this evening. Enjoy yourselves.